Eyes down for the morning, folks. Monday, and we've got the ram off again. I'm going to just take its top off, and I'm going to check, he said, opening the book of words, the relief cylinder. Is it called the relief cylinder? Get over there. The relief cylinder clearance. Of which there is a diagram somewhere, which I've lost. Oh no, I know where it is, it's at the back. It's at the back. Excuse me while I struggle with this. I'll bring you back. There it is. 5/64 clearance, which I shall immediately convert to a decimal so that I can stick feeder gauges in there. I bet it's going to be right, but I just want to check it because there's no point in me fiddling about with it if it's not right. So I'm going to strip the top off and check it. I'll bring you back when I'm in. Right, folks, the metric equivalent of 5/64 is 0.78125. I've been measuring Allen keys, and this one measures just about exactly right, and I placed it under the head of the screw, and it was a little loose, so I've tightened it up a little bit. But do I believe that that's going to make a huge difference? Not really, but let's put it back together and find out, shall we? Here we go, folks. It's the acid Kool-Aid test. Will it or won't it? Release the tiger. Whoops. Will it or won't it? Perfect. Well, it may, that tiny little adjustment I did may have made all the difference, but there you go. She's working. How pleasing. And there she is, folks. All finished, all buttoned up. Put a saddle on the cable just to stop it being pulled direct from the starter. Although I did put a lock nut on the back of that, which wasn't there before, but there you go. Smart looking machine, and works beautifully. Right, another one finished. Thank goodness for that. I'm beginning to clear the decks. Next project, get this steam cleaner checked out. I've rebuilt this, as you may have seen in a video a long time ago, but it went in a corner to be tested and never got tested. So what I've got to do first is phase it out and check that the pump is running in the right direction. Basically, the pump will only work properly in one direction, so I've got to check out that the pump's working in the right direction. That red thing in there is the pump. I've got to take off this end cap here and squint through this hole in there, to see if it's running the right way. So I'm going to get stuck into that. But first, I've tidied up and I'm going to have some coffee because I earned it. Well folks, we have a partial success. I've got the motor phased out. It was running the wrong way. I actually emailed Frankie, or the people that make the pump not the machine, and the bloke got back to me straight away and said, yeah, here you are, here's the diagram, that's the way it should rotate. And then when I look closely, I find there's actually a sort of arrowhead there which points in the way it should rotate, and it's now rotating that way, and it's the pressure side of it is working, but I'm not sure that the burner's coming on, because I can't hear it running. But when that's going, you can't hear much. But I'm going to have to look at that. But that's going to be a job for probably tomorrow, because it's nearly 4 o'clock and I have other stuff to do. But I've got it. It fills up with water and it stays full of water. So there you go. It leaks a bit, but it's got a heart of gold. Pressure washers. Wonderful things. See you tomorrow. Hi folks, Tuesday. I've been very slack today. I went up to Keith this morning with some wood. Keith brought his car down to pick the wood up and backed into a car that was parked on the yard, so he's pissed off. But I haven't done much filming. In fact, I haven't done any filming. I have cleared up the apples that were on the concrete. Of course, there are thousands in the grass. And when I walk round here, look at the thousands in there. I got the true scope of the number of apples. I've never seen not even half this number of apples on this tree. Right? That's a completely new branch, and look at the apples on it. It's unbelievable. This is global warming, folks. This is what happens. More food, better growth, plenty of CO2. It works wonders. Trouble is, I've got nothing to do with them. They're quite a pleasant eating apple. They're not tart or sour or anything like that. They're quite a pleasant eating apple, but how many can you get through? And the problem is, just at the moment, everybody in East Yorkshire has thousands of eating apples. And you know, somebody was going to set up and make cider, but whether they did or not, I don't know. I don't think they did. He was going to come and get all the apples off this tree, and I said, come here, spread a sheet out, come every night, pick up the windfalls and just keep picking them up. You'll get tons. But he never did. People are so unreliable. Right, I'm going home. I'm not feeling brilliant, to be honest. I'm still ailing a bit, but I'll get better. I need to cut this grass and I'm not up to it. We can't get the tractor up here, it's too steep. I need to cut all the bloody brambles off again. Choppers! It will be done. might have a go at it tomorrow if I feel better. I've had a tinker with the Frankie pressure wash, and the burner works, and the pressure wash works, but the burner isn't switching the pressure wash on when you call for heat. So what's gone, or what's faulty, is either the pressure switch or the flow switch, because there's plenty of pressure and plenty of flow, but it's just not switching it on. So I've decided it's going as it is, because I've got many other things that I would much rather play with rather than put hours and hours of working at that. So I've put it on cheap as it is and let somebody else sort it out. It's got a brand new, well, rewound motor in it. When I got it, the main motor was burnt out, and I thought, oh, that's good, because that means that the rest of it's probably in good nick, and certainly it was. But there's a delay relay that delays the firing on the burner for 4 seconds, and it was burnt out, and you can't get a new one because it's a 1986 machine, so it's obviously they don't keep parts for it anymore. So I just got a delay relay, a 4-second delay relay, which was no problem, and put that back in place, and all that's working, and the burner's working, but the pressure washer doesn't switch the burner on. And I've got so many other things that I want to do rather than tinker around with this, so I've just decided to blow it out and get rid of it, let somebody else play with it, because it'll probably be an easy repair and it'll be a damn good machine, because the Franks were probably the best you could buy, and they were horrendously expensive, and they're still in business and they're still making steam cleaners and pressure washers. Right, I'm going home because I live there. I'll see you all later. So folks, Friday, I've been ill, Keith's been ill, we've both been ill. I didn't see anything past Tuesday, and I'm feeling a bit better today. Keith's feeling a bit better, but not very good. And here we are, in the depths of his computer. Unfortunately, his very expensive graphics card with liquid cooling has had one of its fans quit, which probably means that the bloody thing's burnt out. It's probably overheated and say bye bye to the chip. But we have another one, which is actually a later one. Fits the same graphics slot, but it has a different type of auxiliary power that goes to it. I am assuming that is the auxiliary power, because graphics cards of this size generally have auxiliary power, as this one has it on there, which takes the standard power supply sockets. But this is a socketed power supply, so what I'm looking for is a cable that goes from that to that. And we're making phone calls and just seeing if we can find one. So if we find one, we might be able to get it going again, and Keith can avoid going insane with boredom and losing complete touch with the real world by having no internet for the weekend. Never mind. Right. If we get one, I'll bring you back. I'll probably bring you back anyway. Well folks, unfortunately, there it is without a graphics card in it, and we're not getting a post beep. That post is power on self-test. So what happens is, when you turn your computer on, it runs a quick test through the motherboard, and when it's past that test, it goes single beep and goes into boot. It's not single beeping, so it's failing power on self-test. So it looks like it's the motherboard, or the CPU, or the power supply. Without going to the workshop, I haven't got a multimeter to test the outputs on the power supply. But given that when I plug this auxiliary power into both motherboards, then both graphics cards, then both graphics card fans are running, so we have at least some auxiliary power, some power from the CPU, and the motherboard is lighting up. So I've just been over the motherboard looking for any swollen capacitors that I can find, and there aren't any. So it's either something unseated, which I don't believe, or it's the motherboard, because usually once these things are seated, they don't come unseated. You can get them seated badly the first time you put them in. If you're not careful, you can bend pins if you're a bit of a ruffian the first time you put them in. But no beep, generally no motherboard. So this is the end of a very short week, because I've had 3 days off, mainly in bed. Not feeling particularly ill, just feeling generally under the weather and like I've got flu, you know, man flu. So I shall be back at it next week, and I'm going to have another go at that. I've decided the only reason I didn't have another go at that pressure washer was because I just wasn't feeling up to it, and it was down on the floor, and it means bending down and kneeling down and messing about with it. So on Monday I'm going to have a go at it. I'm going to give it a couple of hours, try and check to see if the pressure switch is working, trying to check to see if the flow switch is working, because I know that all the burner mechanism that does the heating is good, because I've tested it on single phase. It's a 3-phase machine, but it derives single phase from the star point of the star wound motor, or should I say the star connected motor. The centre point of a star wound machine or star connected machine can be used as a neutral. So it derives its neutral from there. It's working as a pressure wash, but it's not turning the heater on, not turning the burner on. So I'm going to have another go at that next week. Until then, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Send me likes, send me hates, send me comments, talk to me, and we'll have some fun. See you later. And don't forget to subscribe.